and western Wisconsin will impact the evening commute. And now the extended outlook for the period Tuesday through Sunday. No hazardous weather is expected at this time. Spotter information statement. Skywarn spotter activation will not be needed. The Twin Cities, Minnesota climate summary for this evening, as of 6 p.m., February 6, 2023. Today's high temperature of 36 degrees occurred at 5:26 p.m. Today's low temperature of 14 degrees occurred at 3:44 a.m. 0.04 inches of precipitation fell today. 0.1 inches of snow fell today. The normal high temperature for tomorrow is 26 degrees, and the normal low is 10. The record high for tomorrow is 53, which occurred in 1987, and the record low is -29, which occurred in 1875. Sunset tonight is at 5:28 p.m. Sunrise tomorrow is at 7:25 a.m. Now the forecast for the Twin Cities metropolitan area. Tonight, rain, snow and freezing rain early in the evening, then slight chance of rain late in the evening. Snow accumulation up to 1 inch. Lows in the mid-20s. Southwest winds 10 to 15 miles an hour, shifting to the west 15 to 20 miles an hour overnight. Chance of precipitation near 100%. Tuesday, partly sunny in the morning, then clearing. Highs in the mid-30s. West winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tuesday night, mostly clear. Lows in the lower 20s.
Alrighty, guys, what is going on, my friends? Hope all of you guys are having an awesome Monday evening. Hope everyone is doing all right out there. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, guys, with the severe weather, with all the craziness, the winter weather, the severe weather, all that stuff is going to be kicking its way across the country. I'm going to turn down the weather radar just a little bit more. Let's go ahead and see who is here for today. What is up, everybody? We have ourselves Mark, we have Haley, we have Caden. What's up, guys? Hope you're doing all right. Let's see, we have Sewing here as well. Let's see who else. We have Emily, we have Tornado Clips, we have Fall Guys. What's up, everybody? Hope all of you guys are doing all right. Like I said, glad to have everybody here. We have a live camera for everybody today across the Minnesota region. This is the area of the day. Obviously, like I said, we have a live camera here in the Minneapolis region, which is St. Paul, basically just eastern Minneapolis, essentially. But we are indeed seeing ourselves a bit of snow moving its way towards the region. We actually discussed this earlier in the video that we actually produced earlier. So obviously, with all that going on, we got a little bit of snow, a little bit of a clipper system just driving through. Maybe, honestly, really not that much accumulations is expected out of this, so it's not too much of a concern. It's the next system that's going to be the one we should watch out for. Like I said, obviously we have, if you don't know, if you're not exactly sure what's going on right now, we have a severe weather event that is scheduled for tomorrow as well as Wednesday. Towards the southeast, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, towards areas of Arkansas even, potentially could see some, maybe some strong to severe storms here for basically Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's see here. Chauncey says, hey, doing good? What's up? Hope you're doing good. KPPDX is here. What's up? We're doing good. JP is here. We have Cool. What's up, everybody? Glad to see everybody is joining here. Hope you guys are doing all right out there. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. First thing we're going to look at, just to get it out of the way here, is the current radar view. We're going to see what is going on right at the moment. Like I said, really honestly, there's really not much to talk about in the current radar view, which is just to get it out of the way, just to take a look at it. Now, I'll tell you what, though. That little cold front is starting to show itself, which is kind of interesting. But look at that. So we have this little low-pressure system that's actually stationed in Canada, kicking off a little bit of snow, towards, portions of Minnesota, towards areas of Wisconsin, for the upper state of Michigan. This is actually kicking that cold front. Now, there's no storms really expected to develop on this frontal system. However, possibly a bit of rain could be a possibility out of this, which is definitely a bit interesting. So that's what we're looking at. That is what we are seeing here. So definitely we got to be watching out for that. So tomorrow is the big day. Like I said, tomorrow is essentially the big day here. We have ourselves our marginal rates. Like I said, it's not a very extreme thing going on here, but it's a severe weather potential, and there is a little bit of a threat here for tomorrow. And the Storm Prediction Center actually did say that it's possible we could have a few tornadoes actually being a possibility. So tomorrow's threat mostly just isolated here towards areas in basically east central and far eastern Texas. Covering a lot of the coastal Texas region. Some major areas will be included with this. Such as Houston, such as Austin. We have Corpus Christi. We have Pasadena. We have Waco. Those regions, like I said, those regions right there is essentially what we are looking at. So that's kind of the grounds tomorrow with the possibility of severe weather. So we got to be watching out for it. Small little marginal risk. Like I said, this is a level 1 out of 5. The scale goes from 1, which is what we have, all the way up to 5. So it's not a crazy outbreak or anything like that. No, it's just a little bit of a severe weather possibility here tomorrow. Now, tornadoes, like I said, they do have a tornado possibility. A 2% zone, pretty large 2% zone. Basically saying maybe a tornado or 2 could happen tomorrow across those areas. Overall, pretty low threat. Really not a big, huge concern. Damaging wind possibilities there as well. Hail is actually not a concern. So the only concerns here is tornadoes and possibility of some, maybe some wind gusts. Maybe up to 60 miles an hour could be possible. We do plan on doing coverage on this tomorrow, even though it's a marginal risk here. I mean, still, a lot. The thing is about this time is that people don't expect thunderstorms, and even with the lowest risk that they have issued out there. With that being said, I mean, people just aren't in the mindset of thinking about thunderstorms. They're thinking cold, they're thinking snow. There's a lot of people that just don't understand what's going on. So I think tomorrow we are going to be doing ourselves a bit of coverage. Now, honestly, with all aside here, basically for tomorrow, I'm not really too concerned about anything. But as we move into Wednesday, we have a much larger marginal risk here. Now, this one I think is going to be probably the most big a deal out of this system here. Still the same risk, but it covers about 2.5 times the area here. This covers places in eastern Texas, through central Arkansas here, eastern Texas, central Arkansas, southwestern Tennessee, even towards Memphis there. Portions of, a lot of Alabama, maybe even the western panhandle of Florida towards like Pensacola region. Obviously, all of Louisiana and all of Mississippi is inside the risk area for maybe a few strong to severe storms, essentially here for Wednesday. Now, as of right now, the Storm Prediction Center does not have a breakdown 3 days out. That's only for the first, the first 2 days. So for today and tomorrow, we have a breakdown between hail, damaging winds, and, tornadoes. But for day 3, which is basically on Wednesday, that we do not, as of yet. But I will tell you, I really think that there might be a possibility of some more tornadoes here across areas of Wednesday. And honestly, I think that might be one of the main concerns. Probably, yet again, maybe a tornado concern, maybe a damaging wind concern. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. So I really think that, those areas here in the dark green here for Wednesday might be at risk for maybe a few strong to severe storms. And honestly, if you were to ask me personally, I would say that this is probably going to be upgraded to a slight risk due to the fact that there is a lot of models supporting a decent amount of instability, a decent amount of energy in the atmosphere. We got a pretty strong lower level jet here, kind of what I'm thinking. So we have a pretty strong lower level jet stream, probably about I think it was like 55 miles an hour or so, basically northeasterlies. We'll look at that here in a moment, which would support possibility of some tornadoes, in which that's kind of what we're looking at. That's kind of what we're seeing. So we got to watch out for that here. For the following day here on Thursday, there's no risk here, and basically going out for farther down in time for basically the later portions of this week into early the following week. Essentially, we have nothing on the table. So like I said, obviously Wednesday and Tuesday and Wednesday being tomorrow and the day after, that is our severe weather possibilities. And like I said, I have the biggest concerns here for Wednesday. So tomorrow, just a little marginal risk there. I think it should stay marginal. I'm pretty sure it's just going to stay the way it's at. However, for Wednesday, I think we're probably going to see a slight risk be introduced, another level of severity. So we're definitely going to be live here for Wednesday if possible, which I'm sure I will be able to. I don't really have anything going on Wednesday, so we'll be able to go live for you guys. Tuesday, like I said, tomorrow as well, I have nothing going on, so probably sometime Tuesday evening, we'll figure all that out here in a little bit, what time I'm going to end up trying to go live and stuff like that. But like I said, that's what we're looking at. That's the overall severe weather threat here. So I'm going to switch this over here to the models just because I want to talk to you guys essentially about, the timing, what the system could look like over at a certain period of time. So first of all, like I said, if you want to follow along in time, I'm going to have to mention it. It's in the top right. You guys can see it way over there showing 9 o'clock p.m. Current time here in the Eastern Zone is 10 o'clock. So that's going off of Eastern time, by the way. So if you're in the Central Time Zone, just subtract an hour. It's 9 o'clock model-wise here. So anyways, so we have this cold front, like I said, that's basically driving down from that upper disturbance that's bringing all that snow all the way up in Minnesota. Just a little cold front moving its way through the region. Like I said, not really a big, huge deal. But like I said, this will track its way down here in time. Now, here's the thing. This is going to be kicking up some moisture across the Gulf. You know, we're going to start to see a lot of warm and moisture-filled air starting to drive its way in from the Gulf into the southern parts of the country. That is obviously something that we are going to need to watch out for. So that's kind of what we are seeing there. So a new low-pressure system will kick up here towards, areas of, the southern plains region, obviously right around in here. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Let's see here. Proxy with a $35 super chat. Holy cow, Proxy. What's up? Hope you're doing good. Saying sorry to be late, but good to be here. Hi, Andrew and everyone. What's up, Proxy? Hope you're doing good. Thank you so much for that. That is super, super nice of you, as always. Big double thumbs up goes to you, Proxy. Once again, thank you so much for that. That is super, super nice of you. Big, big shout out for you. But anyways, picking up where we left off here, like I said, we have a new system that's going to be developing here across portions, of Oklahoma and Texas, basically for tomorrow afternoon-ish evening time. And as we track our way down here in time, you're going to start to notice how we have another front starting to kick off here, moving through maybe the Dallas area, maybe around 2 a.m. on the 8th. Essentially, now we could see on and off thunderstorm activity between then, but as we track our way further, and like I said, this is why I'm saying that Wednesday has my greatest concern, because we track our way down here in time, and you can actually kind of see here, but basically around maybe 3-4 o'clock here on Wednesday, how we're starting to get that cold front really kicking up there, all the way up into portions of Arkansas, through Louisiana there, tracking its way further down in time, expected to be there towards western Mississippi, maybe around 8 p.m., basically for Wednesday here, so kind of an evening type of event here. Tracking its way through central Mississippi here at around 11. Like I said, we are going to be live for this, you guys. This will track its way down further, obviously moving into areas of like western Tennessee, western Kentucky, probably around 9 to 10 o'clock. 9 to 10 o'clock Eastern, which will be basically 8 to 9 o'clock Central Time. Like I said, if you're following along in the central states here. But anyways, we have that classic comma shape, low pressure system going on here. I mean, you can see very, very obvious, very, very obvious low pressure system going on there. Like I said, these things rotate counterclockwise, basically a big engine. Think of it as an engine. This is basically the starter for the storms, essentially. So basically how this is working is we get a lot of warm air that starts rushing up here from the Gulf of Mexico. You got to think, I mean, the sun's very, very strong down there, even at this time of the year. So a lot of evaporating water moves inland, water vapor essentially, and we get a lot of humid air, which starts to move into the region. Now the opposite happens on the back end of the system. We start to get a lot of cooler air that starts interacting right there on that frontal boundary. Like I said, interacting with the warm air that's pulling up and obviously that cold air that's pushing behind. So the two interactions between the cold and the warm creates a pretty mad atmosphere, essentially. So that's what's creating the energy that's obviously allowed for thunderstorms to actually fire off here. But anyways, back to timing here. So like I said, obviously, kind of moving around here. Maybe for Friday morning, these storms will still be continuing. So this is probably going to be a overnight event here. And like I said, the thing I'm a little concerned about is just maybe the possibility for a few nocturnal tornadoes being a possibility. Now, like I said, for the day 3 outlook for Wednesday, they do not have a breakdown. The Storm Prediction Center does not have a breakdown yet. But based off of what I've been seeing here on the models, we'll dive into that here right now. We're going to go ahead and switch on over here at the moment. So we'll switch on over here to the models. This was a little Clipper system that is probably not going to happen, but it's something to watch out for. I mean, anyways, we'll get to that here in a moment. But like I said, we're really watching out for the southeast here. And like I said, as we track our way down here through time, we'll take a look at the NAM model here, a little bit more of a higher resolution model here, kind of the mid-range here. You see all of that energy. This is all of the energy, basically all of the thunderstorms fuel, which is needed to fire off storms. So all of this will be advecting its way up here to the north, driving its way up north here. Obviously, with that being said, all of that energy will be coming in contact with that cold front that develops here. Like I said, obviously, with the the frontal system moving through eastern Texas, then through Louisiana, then through Mississippi. I mean, honestly, if we're being quite frank with you guys, it is actually a pretty potent atmosphere for this time of the year. The mid upper levels of the atmosphere are still very cold because it's wintertime. Obviously, they get pretty chilly. But introducing the really warm air on the surface really causes a bunch of stirring activity. So like I said, that's kind of what we're seeing there. So a lot of energy is pulling this way up here into the southeastern U.S. So like I said, probably around 1,000, maybe near 1,500 mixed layer cape. If you want to go more in depth with that, like I said, I'm not explaining what that is. Basically, values over 500. Just think of it as good enough to produce possibly some severe storms. And we have literally nearly triple that in some areas. So obviously there's enough energy to produce some severe weather. Now here's the thing. We're going to take a look at the lower level winds. This is probably about 2, 3, 4,000. Like I said, 2, 3, 4,000 feet up in the air. We have ourselves, a pretty decently strong, I wouldn't say it's anything crazy, but it's a pretty decent lower level jet. I mean, seriously, we have these winds kind of clocking northeast here, probably swinging around 40 knots, so that's about 45, 50 miles an hour, which, I mean, honestly, with the winds screaming up like that, with the amount of energy we have, with the lift from the cold front that we have going through here, that is honestly throwing the potential of maybe a few tornadoes. And that is why I'm saying that there is probably going to be a tornado impact on Wednesday. And maybe even some nighttime tornadoes. Because that's at the time frame right here. Is basically evening for Wednesday. So that's something we're going to have to really consider watching here. Now, as we move up in elevation, the winds, we're going to take the winds a little bit higher up here. Kind of around the mid portion of the thunderstorm. Probably about 30,000 feet. So we track our way over here. We're going to take a look at that right now. And you can see how the winds move a little bit more to the northeast. Now, the winds are actually kind of around the same speed as what the lower levels were showing. They're kind of around 45 miles an hour or so. So obviously, I believe that the winds are going to be strong enough in order to produce a few tornadoes. Now, we're going to take this a little bit further in depth here. We're going to take a few soundings. Now, like I said, don't get scared of what you're about to see here. I understand it's pretty freaky. I'm not expecting you guys to understand it. But I'm going to break this down for you and basically tell you what it's saying here. So we're going to grab a sounding there. We just grabbed one towards eastern Louisiana. So here's the thing. This is what's kind of caught my eye. Like I said, it looks pretty scary, but it's really not as bad as you think it is. So essentially, we have the dew points in the mid-60s. Now, what that means is that there's a lot of fuel, a lot of moisture that's moving in towards the lower levels, which is supportive for tornadoes and just overall thunderstorm development. So that is there. Check that off. Dew points are looking good. Pretty dry mid-level atmosphere, I must have to say. So basically the red is showing your temperature and the green is showing your dew point. You see how they stretch out? That's telling us that there's a pretty dry area, an area of low humidity across the middle portion of the atmosphere. And you can see this is about 3 kilometers up, this is about 6 kilometers up, this is 9 kilometers up. So you can kind of get a reference. This is on a vertical platform here, essentially. So pretty dry atmosphere. Honestly, that could potentially, like I said, that obviously potentially could throw the possibility for some hail. You have to have a dry atmosphere to actually produce some pretty decent hails out of this. So I think hail could be introduced for Wednesday, possibly, at least what this sounding is saying here. But anyways, the winds here towards the ground, like I say, you can see they're going up to the north, and as you go up in elevation, they turn to the northeast. So that wind direction will change. Starting here basically from the surface, going up in the atmosphere, how it changes directions, that is what's going to be possibly kicking off some spin in the atmosphere, creating the possibility for some tornadoes. So that is kind of what we are looking at. So obviously tornadoes is a concern, maybe some hail, damaging winds. I definitely say is a possibility too. Now there's a value we go by down here. You see D cape stands for downwards cape or downdraft energy. Basically what it is that it's the air that comes smacking down to the ground. And depending on how strong it is, that is obviously influencing your damaging wind. So what that is telling me, we could probably see some damaging wind gusts as well. Obviously with a cold front, a typical cold front scenario, which we're seeing here, I obviously think that we're going to see damaging winds. Probably the main concern, actually. So damaging winds, some tornadoes and maybe some hail, I would say is going to be possible. So all three threats could be a possibility. So in terms of the wind speeds, I would have to probably say they'd probably remain around 60 mile an hour wind gusts. Like I said, what the winds could get up to maybe around 60 miles an hour or so. So obviously, that could be quite damaging. So obviously that's something to really watch out there. So like I said, so that's that. That's kind of what we're talking about. So obviously damaging winds, tornadoes, and maybe some hail could be possible here for Wednesday. And like I said, this could be happening at nighttime too. What it looks like, it's going to be going into the overnight hours, starting in the afternoon, going through the evening at pretty strong, rates here, and then moving into basically the overnight hours, which, like I said, overnight, whenever you can't see tornadoes, that's obviously makes things a little bit more dangerous. And like I said, these type of events here, we get something called rain-wrapped tornadoes, which basically what that is you have a long line of storms here, and there's a bit of rotation right in the middle of that heavy rainfall. So it basically obscures any view, making it literally impossible to see the tornado, which is not good. So that's why I have to say, if there's a tornado warning happening, if you get one on Wednesday across areas of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, maybe Arkansas could be included, you better pay attention to it, and you better take action based off of it, because like I said, that is not something that you want to take lightly. And like I said, we're going to be taking you guys step by step through this as the time comes. Like I said, tomorrow we're doing a little bit of coverage, probably not too long, but Wednesday we're probably going to have an extended day of coverage here for y'all on this particular event. So that is something to watch out for. Now, guys, that's in regard to the severe weather. Like I said, there is also another nasty side of the storm, and that is the potential for some snow. And I know a lot of you guys love snow, and I know a lot of you guys hate it. And I'm going to tell you which areas potentially could see it. So we're going to definitely dive down a little bit more into this here. Let's see. Haley says, how many tornadoes will happen this year? There is no way I could directly know how many tornadoes will happen this year. So I will say, though, it might be a pretty active spring. I'm going to have to go with it. It looks like the way that models, climatology models, all that fun stuff is going, I honestly think it could be a potentially active season. That's kind of what I think here. But anyways, moving back here. So the first thing we're going to look at, like I said, we got to take a look at a few different models, because like I said, each model is, obviously its own opinion. If you go off of one opinion, that's pretty biased, and you don't want to do that. You want to get multiple sources to obviously kind of think everything together here. So first of all, let's just go ahead and start off here with the American GFS model. Okay, then we'll take a look at the European model. We'll do all that comparison here in a moment. So let's go ahead and track over here to the Midwest, because that's kind of where a lot of the snow is going to be mostly at, is across the Midwest region. So anyways, let's go ahead and track our way down here. We're going to take a look at the overall snowfall accumulations. Now, once again, what you're about to see here, do not take this as 100% seriousness. Okay, so anyways, according to the GFS model, this model's been pretty aggressive. I'm not going to lie with y'all. So areas here towards central and eastern Iowa, they're, in this dark blue kind of shaded colors, this model is representing the possibility of 3 to 5 inches towards those locations, with even higher amounts possible here in eastern Iowa, maybe up to 8 to 12 inches in some areas. Same thing for areas here in southern Wisconsin, central southern Wisconsin. Some areas maybe up to a foot. Now, once again, do not get your hopes up directly of what you see right here. We're going to have to look at a few other models, and you'll see the differences between them. Same thing, northern Michigan here, probably 8 to 10 inches across those regions. So overall, I mean, seriously, that's a pretty decent amount of snow if that does actually play out there. So once again, that's the American GFS. That is indeed what we are looking at. So anyways, we're going to track over here to the European model's opinion now. So it's good to get multiple sources here. So we track our way down here through time, European model. We obviously get a lot less snow, as you can see. So that's exactly why I was saying do not get your hopes up for what you see over this. So in this case, the most across Iowa is 3 to 5 versus that potential of 8 to 10, essentially, we were just talking about, or however much that was. It was 8+ inches over there. That's a lot different than what the GFS has to say. So obviously about 3 to 5 inches is kind of expected. Same thing. Maybe here towards, southern Wisconsin, maybe 3 to 6 inches, central southern Wisconsin. But however, there is an agreement. These models do agree on something, and that is the fact that very tip northern Michigan might see over 8 inches. So between what both the major models said, it's looking quite probable. It is looking quite probable that areas here, maybe in northern Michigan, could see those snow totals, perhaps maybe up to 8 to 10 inches or so. Maybe localized higher amounts theoretically could be possible out of that, but that's that. We'll grab another opinion here. This is the Canadian model. So we're going to take a look, and we're going to kind of average all this out here. Tracking our way down here through time. Now, this one's a little bit more aggressive than what the European model had to say here. Once again, kind of the same, maybe 3 to 5 inches across a lot of eastern Iowa. Kind of seems to be the major thing here. Southern Wisconsin, we're kind of talking maybe the potential here of, honestly, maybe 8 to 12 inches, according to what the GDPS has to say, the Canadian model. Same thing for northern, northern Michigan. All the models here are actually suggesting a decent amount of snow, maybe pushed a little bit further south here in this model compared to what the American and the European model had to say here. So this one's pushed a little bit further south here, but overall, I would say if you're in the upper portions of Michigan, basically if you're right there in like the first, I'd say the first 10 counties probably up here in northern Michigan. I would say that you're probably in store for maybe up to 8 to 12 inches. That seems quite probable, according to what all these models have said. All these models were talking over 8 inches being quite likely. So that's something there. Like I said, honestly, I'd expect a little bit more in southern Wisconsin, based off what all these models had said than versus Iowa. Overall, I think maybe 3 to 6 inches could be possible here in eastern Iowa. Maybe 4 to 8 inches across portions of southern Wisconsin, and perhaps maybe 8 to 12 inches across areas of northern Michigan. But there's one more thing we need to look at. This is the mixed opinion here. This is the blend of models. This takes all the models we just looked at, plus many more, averages out their data, essentially basically just taking a look at things. So overall, here is kind of what we're talking about. And it's honestly kind of disappointing compared to what all these major models had to say here. So eastern Iowa, 1 to 3 inches, maybe 2 to 4, 3 to 5 inches, kind of, towards areas here, towards, basically central and southern areas of, Wisconsin. Northern Michigan, although a little higher, but nothing compared to what all of the major models had to essentially show here. So like I said, obviously it's a bit, it's a little bit crazy. It's a little bit crazy here. So a lot less compared to what all the other models we looked at had to say there. So I would not get your hopes down yet that much cannot be expected here. I mean, it could definitely throw a curveball at any moment. Now, the one thing I do want to go ahead and show you guys is we're going to take a look at the forecasts here. This is the expected snowfall over the next 48 hours. But you know what? This does not actually talk about this because I forgot. This is 3 days out. This is not 2 days out. But overall, with this little clipper system we're seeing basically right now that's kicking off across the Midwest region, some areas here may be seeing maybe up to 1 to 3 inches. But like I said, really nothing too crazy here. Let's see here. For such times as this says, just jumped on, have you mentioned Kansas? So in Kansas, we have not really mentioned areas of Kansas here. Although, I will say, yeah, Kansas really does not have any big potential out of this storm system here. The only thing that I would say is essentially the fact that we might be seeing a bit of rainfall. That low pressure system starting across, areas of, Texas and Oklahoma, eventually will track its way into Kansas. As you can see, that pivoted area of circulation located right there between basically, these quad states, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas here. And you can kind of see how, this thing is rotating counterclockwise. So basically, that's the low pressure system. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to be possible. You're probably going to be seeing a bit of, maybe a bit of, perhaps maybe some snow is a possibility here. We actually take a look at the frozen precipitation on this. That definitely looks possible. So areas here in eastern Kansas does look quite possible for snow. But like I said, in terms of storms, no, that's not a concern. Probably going to start off with some rain and then eventually turn into snow. Which, honestly, I mean, it could be, like I said, it could be a decent amount. Maybe a little bit of snow could be forecasted for these areas here. But anyways, that's that. Like I said, once again, the snow would probably start here, according to the obviously the NAM 3-kilometer model here, kind of around the afternoon here on Wednesday. Maybe around 1, 2 o'clock your time. So obviously that is a possibility. So watch out for that. Colder air basically backs in behind the system here. Because like I said, I mean, these systems are pretty complex yet complicated in the same way. You have a lot of warm air that starts pulling up here, obviously increasing those temperatures, obviously throwing in a lot of moisture supply to the main engine, which the main engine is that low pressure system there, which is basically rotating, circulating. And then you have the opposite on the backside. You have a lot of cold air that starts backing down. And since that cold air is touching all that precipitation on that front, basically that top left side, that is turning that precipitation type from rain into snow, since that colder air is interacting with all of that moisture that's being wrapped around across the Midwest. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Hopefully that does, and it kind of shows you. Let's see here. Thank you. Absolutely no problem. Yeah, anything. I got you all covered. But like I said, I mean, seriously, look at that nasty line of storms that we could be seeing here for Wednesday. And like I said, you can see that's around 9 o'clock. This is well after sunset. So like I said, I think this is going to be a evening and an overnight type of event here. I really do believe that these storms could be kicking pretty strong here. I mean, look at this. This is showing around 1 a.m. and the storms are still looking pretty aggressive, according to things. So, like I said, I'm a little bit worried. I'm a little questioned about it. Because, like I said, I really believe, if we're being honest, if I'm being honest with you guys, I really do think that this risk we have here is going to be upgraded, probably to at least a slight risk. Because like I said, between all the models we were just watching, between the overall energy that's available here, you can see that's plenty enough energy, over 1,500 mixed layer cape according to some of these models here. That's plenty enough, especially for this time of the year. And we have a lot of strong lower level winds here. Obviously throwing that lower level jet possibly into the direction of a few tornadoes being possible. So that's kind of the thing here. Let's see here. Anything for North Carolina, says Fame. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. We're going to track over to the GFS really quickly just so I can take this instability further. There is some talks that maybe some of that energy that's being shot up into the southeast might reach areas of basically near Charlotte. Now, this might just be enough energy to maybe produce a few rumbles of thunder, but other than that, nothing on the severe spectrum. However, I will say there is a good probability that you will see a decent amount of rain. I would say too much, but I'd say a little bit of rain indeed could be possible towards your location. This is the blend of models. Like I said, this takes all the all those models' opinions and basically blends them together here. And you can actually see, I mean, honestly, even some areas in North Carolina potentially could see over an inch, more kind of that central eastern side of the state. Now, for you specifically, if I recall correctly, here towards Charlotte, you're kind of in that ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch type of zone, essentially, which is kind of interesting. I just really find it interesting how there's just this big dry splotch right here. Have y'all think that's crazy? Like right here across the the Appalachian Mountains here, Western Virginia, Eastern Kentucky, pretty much Eastern West Virginia here, which is pretty crazy. And then you got all these other areas that's seeing an inch plus, essentially all over here. And same thing across the Ohio Valley too, which is just a little bit weird to look at. Just a little dry pocket there. I think that's influenced by the mountaintops, what I believe. But anyways, it's just a little odd to look at it that way overall. Let's see. Fame says, thanks, man. No problem. Absolutely no problem. And like I said, if there's anything that we can do for y'all out there, hey, let me know. We'll be talking about it. We got you guys covered here. So, moving back over here to the, like I said, back over here to, the models here regarding that energy component across the south. We have a high resolution model here. This is the, like I said, this is the NAM 3-kilometer model. I mean, even this model here in particular does show a lot of energy. A lot of available energy, over 1,000. Like I said, those values over 1,000. Think of this as just a storm's fuel. Perfect. That is absolutely perfect for thunderstorms and perhaps some severe storms to actually kick off here. So we're gonna grab another sounding. Once again, do not get scared of what you're gonna see. I know it looks pretty scary because it's a lot of stuff, but like I said, essentially just, like I said, don't let it get to you. I'm going to explain it for you. I'm going to break this down very simply, really quickly, just to kind of show you, what we could see out of this here. Let's see here. Fame says, we need snow. I hear you. Honestly, I'm at the same area there. But anyways, dew points, that moisture content at the surface, which is needed for tornadoes and thunderstorms in general, is in the upper 60s. That is perfect. It cannot get any better for tornado environments. Like I said, that's not the only thing we have to look at. The winds here towards the surface, they are moving north. They do increase with altitude, and they do change directions, which is a bit concerning. And I really do think that is a prime environment here for a few tornadoes, more than that marginal risk we have there. I think that's seriously going to be a possible concern for at least a slight risk here, by the time we get to actually Wednesday. Anyways, but we'll take a look at the hodograph here. You see there's a little bit of a, if we really look at this, like I said, I'm not going to seriously explain this, but you see how basically this curves to the right? That is telling us that wind direction with altitude. So you can see how it churns directions, basically looking above and looking down. You can see how the winds go from north to northeast, and that's why it's turning like that. So once again, a prime example of why I think that tornadoes will probably be a big concern there. And so, like I said, with that being said, everything's in place. It definitely does look in place to be producing the possibility of, like I said, maybe all types of severe weather that day. Like I said, Wednesday, the possibility of, tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds does seem quite likely. And like I said, obviously we have that snow element as well across the north, not across the southeast. You can't be having all those at once. But like I said, obviously across the north areas, such as the Midwest, Upper Midwest, possibly areas of the Ohio Valley, could be getting a little bit of that activity. Let's see. Rain says, so I expect a slight. I do expect a slight here. Like I said, here's the current outlook that the Storm Prediction Center has as of right now. Like I said, they have it at a marginal risk here. Like I said, this is a level 1 out of 5. This is basically a severe threat level 1 out of 5. The higher the number, the more severe it gets. But this is also 3 days out, or technically 2 days out at this point, since today is pretty much over. So with that being said, I really do believe that they're going to upgrade this to at least a slight risk here, if not an enhanced risk. Like I said, at worst case scenario, maybe an enhanced risk, with the criteria I'm seeing. This is just solely based off of the models we just looked at and what I think personally. So, obviously this could definitely change, but I at least think a slight risk is going to be issued, if not an enhanced, which, like I said, I wouldn't say really any more than that, essentially, at the current rate the models are going. So once again, we'll just need to watch out for it. I think the main concern, as mentioned before, will be wind damage, followed by the tornado possibility, and maybe a little bit of hail too. I think that could be possible. But here tomorrow's update. So we're going to be doing actually a live stream tomorrow night. So we'll go over this expectancy. We'll go over everything again with you guys. But just notice, I think, mark my words for it now, I think this is going to turn to a slight risk, and I think they're going to introduce a tornado risk here as well as a damaging wind concern. That's kind of the main areas we're watching here. But anyways, but that is indeed what we are seeing here. And like I said, obviously, if you guys have any questions on this live stream right now, if there's anything specific you want me to look at, if there's a specific location that you want me to look at, hey, feel free to let me know, because I'm going to be here for you guys. I'm going to make sure y'all are staying up to date with this, because like I said, I mean, I understand you guys, there's some people out there that are a little worried about storms, and they don't like storms as much as I do, per se, but I can tell you what to expect here. So obviously, if there's any questions along that standards, if there's something that you're a little worried about, a little curious about, hey, let me know, specific area. I will look at that area and I'll tell you what you possibly can expect here. Even to just give you a reference, say eastern Oklahoma, for example. Just give me a reference of an area at least there, so I can actually show you what you possibly can expect there. But anyways, that's all that. That's kind of what we're seeing here regarding that. Yes, I'm still watching that camera. But like I said, that's kind of what we're looking at. The overall Storm Prediction Center here, we'll bring up the day 3 outlook here. And you can see, I mean, it's a pretty large risk here, right there across, eastern Texas, Louisiana, obviously areas here towards, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, all of that stuff, which is pretty crazy. But anyways, we're going to track this down here a little bit in time. And like I said, with the timing of the system, by the time that cold front reaches that marginal risk here, and you can actually see there how essentially that basically moves in here around, honestly, kind of around 9 in the morning from what, well, hold on a second. No, sorry. This is for basically, yeah, so basically afternoon on Wednesday, tracking through the night of Wednesday into Thursday. So Thursday will probably even carry a risk here as well. Let's see, Proxy here, been a member for 5 months. Has it really been that long already, Proxy? That is absolutely crazy. Well, first off, thank you seriously so much for being the top supporter of the channel. You are amazing, Proxy. And wanting to know if there's anything for Northeastern Ohio. So regarding the areas here towards Ohio here, like we were mentioning before, it's a possibility that we could get a bit of precipitation. Yes, that definitely looks quite probable. We'll go ahead and switch over here back to this view here. But anyways, we take a look at this here at the moment. Like I said, the blended models does support a bit of rainfall, or a bit of precipitation anyways, about 8/10 of an inch here essentially, which is something to watch out here for. Now, snowfall out of this here, that's the question. There is actually the possibility of a bit of snowfall. This will be falling here probably from the 10th into the 11th. I'd say probably about 1 to 2 inches could be expected. So that's kind of what we're seeing here. Let's see here. Proxy gifting 10 memberships as well. Holy cow, Proxy. Thank you. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart. That's super nice. Holy cow. Thank you. That is super, super nice of you. Let's see. Time flies. Absolutely. It really does. And Proxy, seriously, thank you so much. Let's see. Popcorn here as well. with the membership. Thank you so much, guys. Seriously, that means a lot. Thank you all seriously for supporting the channel. Seriously, guys, like I said, it definitely means a lot. Big thank you. And so, like I said, the overall mix of the models, even like I said, the blend of models we're looking at here, basically, the mixture between several different model opinions here. There's a possibility of a coat of snow all the way down here, towards like Kentucky possibly. I wouldn't know how much to trust that though, because there's some models that probably show a lot of snow for these areas, while the other ones does show none. So I really would not be too hopeful on this, essentially, which is crazy. Proxy says, time flies when I'm having fun. Yeah, it flies in general there, Proxy. It's crazy. Seems like the older I get, the more quicker time goes, which you got to cherish every moment. You really do. Let's see. Spencer says, what's up? What's up, Spencer? Hope you're doing good. Glad to have you here. And once again, like I said, if there's any questions you all might have, feel free to let me know. Absolutely. So, like I said, obviously what's going on, with the storms and stuff like that, we're going to switch this over here to composite reflectivity. This really shows that precipitation, that precipitation rate a little bit more serious here. Anyways, but we track our way down here through time. Obviously, we get a lot of that Gulf support here. Like I said, obviously the Gulf of Mexico is basically one of the main drivers out of the system here. So essentially, we have a lot of that warm air ushing its way up here into the southeast here. And like I said, as we track our way down here through time, you can actually see how the cold front really comes in contact here. This, you guys can't see the time there, but this is basically saying here for essentially, late afternoon, early evening here for Wednesday, starting to kick off here. Obviously moving through Thursday morning. Kicking through here, I mean, it kind of looks like it really starts fading out maybe around 6, 7 o'clock. But like I said, obviously there's a boundary of how much you can trust that timing, essentially, because that's still pretty far out. So know that the timing can still change, but that's just kind of the ballpark we're seeing as of right now. With the timing between these models and all that fun stuff here. But like I said, I mean, just look at the shape of the storm. That beautiful comma shape. That beautiful comma shape low pressure system we have here is absolutely beautiful. Like I said, low pressure system, they rotate counterclockwise. This is the main engine for the snow and all of the thunderstorms here. Once again, like I said, with that going on, we have all the warm air pulling up here. We got all the cold air pulling behind here. I should use that in blue. Yeah, all the cold air pulling from behind. So we had that interaction point right where the two air masses meet. That's the cold front, and that's essentially right there where the interaction, that's where all the energy is developed for the nasty severe storms. So anyways, but that's that. Let's see here. Scott says, is Beloit, Wisconsin gonna get more snow? So first of all, let's go and look up that area here because I'm not exactly familiar with that location. Anyways, but we take a look here across the region. We'll go ahead and switch over here towards Beloit, Wisconsin. Okay, so you, my friend, you're actually right here in basically far south Wisconsin. And you're wanting to know about any more snow. Well, I'll tell you what, my friend. Yes, there looks like there's going to be a bit more snow. And let me actually go ahead and show you exactly what we're talking about here. So, we track our way over here to my other, the blended models. Like I said, basically taking all these models outputs here. We track our way down here through time, and you can see how another storm system, this is basically that system that we're talking about here, maybe, I mean, I honestly say maybe 2 to 4 inches, could be added on top of that, specifically there. Now, there is, like I said, there is a handful of models that are a little bit more aggressive, not going to lie. What is going on? Okay, never mind, a snow depth. I was wondering what the heck is the GFS talking about here, but no. We track our way down here in time. This one obviously shows a lot more, towards these locations. A big jump off. You see, it goes from a foot to like 3 inches in a matter of like 20 miles or so. That's just a good reason not to trust one in particular model here. Like I said, the European model here supports, a bit of snow. Since you're kind of on the south, so you're going to want the storm to shift a little further south, essentially before you get a lot more accumulations, basically. Let's see here. If the models continue to trend, we could be looking at an enhanced risk. Yeah, honestly, I really think that that's on the table. I would not really say anything more than that as of what I'm seeing yet. I definitely think a slight risk is likely. I don't know about an enhanced risk, though. So we'll watch this. Like I said, tomorrow we'll have a much better idea of what we can expect here. Like I said, we'll be doing a live stream. We'll be doing some coverage on the severe storms expected tomorrow. We'll talk more about that then. Let's see. Will Kansas City area have any weather with this? So now we're going to pull up the NAM 3-kilometer model. Just take a look at a future, like I said, just look at a future reference here, essentially. But we track our way down here in time regarding precipitation type, all that fun stuff there. So we move our way down in time. Like I said, they're Kansas City. Kind of what we're talking about here. Obviously, Kansas City is, located. Let's see here. Kansas City. Where is Kansas? Okay, yeah, that's right. Far eastern side. I was losing it because it did not say that. So, yeah, Kansas City region. Obviously, towards that area there. We track our way down here through time. And like I said, you can see how there's a bit of rain that starts popping up. But honestly, I think that could turn into snow, as you actually see here. So that is a good possibility. As that cold air starts interacting from the back half, I really think that there could be some snow for the Kansas City area. So that might be something to watch out for. And it probably will be heavy too, honestly. But the thing is, it probably would not last that long, essentially. Let's see. Anything for Toronto, Canada? So, like I said, unfortunately, my models don't really reach up that far, there. We can move over here to the northeastern U.S. Regarding the system that moves through. Let's actually take a look here at the NAM model. This one goes a little bit further out. So obviously that little, we're gonna get a little slice of maybe rain snow mixture moving through. But out of this system here, it's probably just gonna remain maybe in the form of maybe beginning as sleet and then turning just to rain, because you're getting that warm air and basically no winter weather essentially. So I'm gonna have to say probably nothing too crazy or cool. Probably nothing too crazy. But anyways, like I said, that's the overall view out of this storm system. Like I said, it's an absolute beast. I mean, it's a beautiful storm system here. A very well-defined storm system that's going on. And actually, something we have not really mentioned to you guys. I was wanting to mention this, but I really didn't know when to tell you guys about this. But there is a storm. I should probably have talked about this a little bit ago. But there is a storm here. Let's go ahead and switch this over to, let's see, is there a full disk here? There's ConUS. There is maybe that view? Probably not. I'll tell you what, we're just going to have to pull it up on my other website here. But there is a really crazy storm system that is kicking off. I mean, it's almost like hurricane-like. It's not a hurricane, though. But it's like hurricane-like winds and stuff like that out of it. It's just an absolute crazy storm here. Here we go. We'll just go ahead and switch over to the full disk here. All right, so we're just going to do that here right now. We're going to switch over to that. So there it is, just right off the coast of the eastern United States. You can see it right there. Big old crazy storm system. It's another low-pressure system. It's just absolutely kind of crazy. This sucker's been, obviously throwing a big concern for boatists. Did I really call it boatist? Mariners outside. Why did I call it? Okay, so apparently that's a new word here on the channel, is boatists. But anyways, like I was saying there, this would be a problem for mariners, not boatists. But like I said, obviously in the form of, winds and in the forms of, waves. I was hearing from the National Weather Service, they were saying that there is possibly going to be up to 40-foot waves out of that. Which is crazy. Which is absolutely crazy. So, like I said, that's kind of a thing there. So some strong winds here. I mean, not necessarily for the coast. Now, I'm going to have to say there's probably going to be some impacts, at least on the coastlines. Maybe some rip currents, because, like I said, this thing basically stirs up the water, and it's basically pulling the water away from the coastline, so that would obviously throw rip current concerns. I think that's a possibility for, like, the northeast regions, for the coastal northeast anyways. But that's that. That's essentially, all of that going on there. But I just wanted to mention that with you guys. I just wanted to, let you know essentially what was going on down there and, all of that fun stuff. But once again, like I said, tomorrow, guys, we are going to be going live for y'all. We're going to make sure that you guys are staying up to date with the weather. Like I said, tomorrow's just a small little marginal risk here. Like I said, it's nothing, not a huge deal. But like I said, Wednesday, we have a much bigger marginal risk here, which I think is going to be upgraded possibly twofold, which honestly, I think this could be a pretty decent event here Wednesday. Tomorrow, I think it's just going to remain a marginal risk here. But although the Storm Prediction Center can definitely throw out some surprises. So I really think that it's just going to remain a marginal risk here. You can see that boundary moving through right there. You see that right there? Yeah, this is for tomorrow. Kind of showing that, boundary kicking off some storms maybe around, kind of really starting there. Maybe around just about, honestly, kind of evening time. We're kind of, like I said, we're kind of already talking here. Possibly about, I'm probably going to go live maybe around 9. Probably 8 o'clock Eastern. I think that's a plan. That's a go as of now, but I'll watch it continuously. Rain says the Storm Prediction Center has a slight in their discussion for Wednesday. They do? Let's see. This is Wednesday. Let me see. At least, hold up. There we go. An upgrade category slight risk could be warranted for portions of the region into the day 2 time frame as forecast details become more clear. And there you go. And that's exactly what I was telling you guys, is that based off of all these models here and from what we've seen, this is not looking marginal material. This is looking higher than that. Like, this is looking potentially like slight risk material, in which we'll definitely need to watch out for. We'll know by tomorrow night what it's going to most likely end up being. But overall, I mean, that's just a little bit interesting here. Anyways, so guys, if you have any more questions, feel free to let me know. Like I said, if there's anything that I can do for you here on the stream, if there's a specific area you want me to look at regarding the precipitation type, if you're expecting to get any impacts out of the storm, if you want me to look at temperatures for your area, let me know zip code, throw down a zip code, throw whatever thing you want me to look at. I'm going to start doing it that way. So if you want me to look at the temperatures, say zip code and then put temperatures. If you want me to see precipitation, just put radar, or future radar or something like that. Impacts, something like that. So just throw that down there in the chat. Like I said, if there's an area that we can look at for y'all, like I said, I'll plug it into this program here. It'll pull up the the area of where we're looking at, and then I'll go ahead and show you between the models for that area of what we possibly could see there. Let's see here. Sewing says 74631 forecast is flip-flopping on rain. So yeah, I actually remember where you were there, Sewing, from the last few streams here. So regardless, over across the areas here in Oklahoma, I'm going to have to say here, yeah, probably no winter precipitation. You're probably going to remain mostly out of the rain too, which I don't think is going to be a big concern. Let's see here. Is Nebraska going to get precipitation? So that's actually a really good question. So we track our way over here. We didn't really talk much about Nebraska here. So as we move over towards the, near Nebraska here, we're going to pull up the blend. Or you know what? We're going to pull up the NAM model just to take a look at the future radar possibilities here. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So here's Nebraska. So as we track our way down in time here out of this storm system, that's why we didn't talk about Nebraska much, because it looks like it's going to remain out of Nebraska. Although there's a few snow showers kind of popping up here between what the NAM model has to say there. But like I said, it's mostly those areas here. The snow impact zones might include areas of Oklahoma. But there you go. I mean, Sewing, that depends on which model you look at. And I see what you're saying there. Obviously this one kind of showing maybe some snow. But a lot, probably in the form of just showers, probably nothing accumulative. Obviously here in eastern Kansas, a lot of northwestern, Missouri potentially, a lot of central and eastern Iowa, moving up towards Wisconsin and those areas. Maybe northwestern Illinois could be impacted. But overall, that's kind of what we're seeing there. Chauncey wants me to take a look here, 46092, saying much rain, ? So 46902 across portions here of Indiana. So you, my friend, are right here towards, right here just north of Indianapolis here. So across the region, regarding the accumulations, we're just going to take a look at the local view here between, the region. You're basically right in here. This is right around your location. So when it comes to, like I said, the blend of models, we're going to take a look at that mixed opinion here between multiple different models here. We're going to take a look at the overall precipitation possibilities. From what it looks like, I mean, honestly, a decent amount could be warranted. Honestly, I'd say there's a possibility of actually seeing maybe about, 3/4 of an inch to an inch, of rain could be possible across those locations. So look at that, kind of showing around 0.9. I'd say probably 3/4 of an inch, probably up to an inch is kind of the ballpark, kind of more of the ballpark there, but that's that. Let's see. Thanks for looking at. No problem. Let's see here. Bond wants me to take a look here. Saying 45385, 45385 across portions here of Ohio. Basically southwestern side. We already have basically bits of that region already there. So rainfall out of this storm system here. Do not trust what I just showed you there. But Dayton, obviously towards that region there, we're kind of expecting maybe a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. Could be possible. In terms of, obviously snowfall out of this, honestly, I'm not so hopeful on it. Really not expecting much of anything. Now, this does show a little bit of another little system moving through for the 11th. But this is not that main system we're talking about. So it's possible. You'll probably just see rain out of it. You're mostly going to remain in that warm air, essentially. But that's kind of what is, that's kind of what's going on there. Anyways, let's see here. Let's see. We have ourselves, can you please check on Kansas City? Absolutely. Yeah, so Kansas City region. Go ahead and switch on over here. So like I said, Kansas City being obviously, we just talked about Kansas City, actually. That's the thing. We literally just talked about Kansas City region. But anyways, before that area, when it comes to activity and stuff like that, we take a look here over at the back of the models. When it comes to snowfall, because I think snow could possibly be a thing here. I'd say probably a 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch of snow could be possible out of that. Like I said, it's probably going to start off as rain, and then it's going to backside. Once that colder air starts reaching the back of that storm system, it's going to turn that precipitation from rain into snow. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with that. Let's see here. Richard says, hello, what's up? Joyce says, never mind. Let's see. Did Joyce say something? Oh, yeah, Joyce, way up in the comments. Sorry, I did not see that. Like I said, I look at this, and then I see comments go through, or I don't see them. Sorry about that, Joyce. Was wondering if there's anything significant for 78418. Okay, so I got you here. So once again, sorry about that. 78418 across areas here of Texas. Oh, this is all the way down in southern Texas. So there is actually a thunderstorm risk. Not a severe thunderstorm risk here towards your region. This is for Corpus Christi. Obviously very far south Texas. There is not a severe weather risk. There's just a generalized thunderstorm risk, basically meaning no severe storms, just your average thunderstorm could possibly happen. So look out for some thunderstorms here, possibly for tomorrow. Probably tomorrow afternoon. Kind of what I'm thinking, maybe, or possibly, actually no, probably tomorrow evening, early Wednesday. Kind of seems to be what what it looks like. Let's see here. I really dislike winter now, says Pop. Shame February is not really active. Winter month. I-95 corridor. I thought prime month for huge snowstorms, not like January. Well, I mean, you still know. I mean, just to let you know, it is still the beginning of February. I mean, we have not really traveled that far into February yet. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, we are still in a very strong winter month. So, we'll see. We will see. Let's see here. Brandon wants me to take a look here at 35117. Tornadoes question mark. So, let me look at that for you. So, 35117. 35117. This is across areas of Alabama, wanting to know any threat for tornadoes. So I tell you what, you are in central Alabama, kind of here towards Birmingham, essentially. So, like I said, with the current risk we have out here right now, from the Storm Prediction Center, yes, you are included in that location. And like I said, I think, based off of what we were going off of the models and all that fun stuff, I really think that tornadoes could be a possibility. So I would say you're probably going to be in that tornado probability. By tomorrow, I'd say by tomorrow night, you'll probably be in that. So watch out. Watch out for that. Like I said, as the event unfolds and as the conditions occur, we'll be live during it. Like I said, tomorrow too, we're gonna go live some Eastern Texas storms and all that stuff. So, but like I said, the big day is Wednesday. I'm gonna take a whole day dedicated, essentially for Wednesday here, essentially. Watershed says, hello, NW16, hello again, Andrew, what's up? Let's see. Do I see any winter weather for southeast or for the southwest? Southwest. For the southeast. Oh my gosh. Okay, so southeast in the next 2 weeks. Okay, so did I really just say that on live air? Okay. Anyways, so across the regions here, like I said, it's really not good to look out two weeks in advance, essentially. So I'm gonna have to go with saying we can't look at that right now. But in terms of snowfall, at least over the next the next 5 so days, I really don't like to look past 5 days, essentially. But no, probably not. probably not going to see anything anytime soon. At least not on the forecast anytime soon. But like I said, I mean, we are still moving through. Like I said, we are still moving through February, so we'll see how that moves through. You know, we will see how the rest of February treats us here. But anyways, that's that. Like I said, if you guys have any more, let's see, if you have any more questions, let me know. Like I said, here, guys, we're here for you. We're here to let you all know what is expected. And if you have not already, like I said, I really don't ask to do this too much. Consider hitting that subscribe button. Be greatly appreciated. See, tongue twister. Yeah, a little bit. I said, was it southwest is what I said. It's kind of funny. But anyways, like I said, anything I can do for y'all, let me know. We'll take a look at specific areas here. Like I said, if there's an area you want me to look at, if you're a little curious about, severe storms, if you're curious about any of that other mess and stuff like that, like I said, we got you covered. We're here for you. And like I said, once the event actually starts kicking off here, then we'll be here in order to, to talk more about that. Anyways, let's see here. RDPS, I don't know if this supports, it does not really support this region. However, the RDPS model does show a lot of advection, a lot of energy in the atmosphere from, like I said, from this storm complex here. A lot through Texas there. You can see eastern Texas. A lot through Louisiana, portions of Mississippi even. Quite interesting. Yeah, a lot of the models here are supported. Wow! Holy cow! The WRAP model goes absolute bonkers with the energy in the atmosphere. Some areas near 2,000. So essentially all this blue you guys see, that is basically a lot of thunderstorm energy. That is crazy. Yeah, the WRAP model is by far the most crazy out of this here. That is absolutely, that's crazy. That is actually pretty crazy. So over 1,000 mixed layer Cape here. I'm going to grab a sounding. I'm not going to cherry pick anything in that crazy area. But we're going to basically pick, let's see, South Central Mississippi. We'll just grab a little sounding here. Like I said, don't freak out, because I know it's pretty scary looking. Yeah, it looks pretty scary, huh? But like I said, I'm just going to break this down. Dew points, upper 60s, which basically means that, thunderstorms are good to go. Basically, that's a good thing that's needed for thunderstorms to kick off there. Basically, surface moisture, we have that. Upper 60s, perfect. Also for tornado probability. That's one thing that tornadoes could be possible with. The winds towards the ground are moving north. Their direction has a lot of things to do with, and as you go up in the atmosphere, this tracks its way up here to the northeast. So, with that being said, there is a huge directional wind change, obviously in the wind direction, essentially. So this is going to be creating that spin that is going to be possible for maybe some tornadoes. And you can see how the hodograph here is what we call it, how it kind of curves into like a sickle shape right there. So that's what they call it, sickle shape hodograph. It's a slight sickle shape right there. But that is showing that wind directional change as you go up in the atmosphere, and that would possibly support maybe some tornadoes. So keep that in mind, y'all. That's a big thing for Wednesday. Like I said, tomorrow there's a severe risk, and there is a possibility for some tornadoes tomorrow, according to the Storm Prediction Center. But I think Wednesday is going to be the big day. Like I said, tomorrow evening we're going to go live for you guys. Do some coverage on it. We'll do updates tomorrow night too while we're live streaming what's going on. Probably in between storms if there's a break, hopefully. Then we'll be talking about that next day, which is Wednesday. So we'll keep an eye on that. My mom's here. What's up? Hope we're doing good. Let's see here. Haley says, I love it when you say funny things. Yeah. It happens pretty, quite a bit here on the channel. It happens quite often here, which is crazy. I've said some pretty stupid things on the channel. Like I said, if you're just now joining us here, probably about 5 minutes ago, I said southwest is what I said. Southwest. That reminds me, I don't know if you guys have ever watched SpongeBob, but that reminds me of that one episode with the treasure map. Do you remember that? I don't know if any of you guys know that. The treasure map one, where he says east, I thought you said west. That's basically what that reminded me of as soon as I said that there. It's pretty crazy. Let's see. Cool. Once we take a look at 15106. Let's see here. 15106. That is for Pennsylvania. All right. So this region here, basically, okay, Pittsburgh. Okay. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So obviously severe storms not expected over there. You're too high up north. So that thunderstorm potential is not going to reach up there. However, for the areas in Pittsburgh, you might be in store for a bit of, I'd have to say probably rain. Let's actually double check on that really quickly. Let's actually move over here to the, we're going to take a look here over at the NAM model here. We're going to switch over to precipitation type and rate. That way we can figure out what we're talking about. So we track our way down in time here. Yeah, the storm system moves through. So yeah, it's probably going to be in the form of maybe some rain showers, essentially. So that is a possibility. Maybe towards western Pennsylvania. So obviously they're towards Pittsburgh, essentially. Yeah, so probably in the form of rain showers, essentially. Like I said, that snow is going to be mostly across, out of this storm system, mostly across maybe north central Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, basically western Missouri, central eastern Iowa, maybe northwestern Illinois, but if so, not much, and through a lot of Wisconsin there. Maybe the upper state of Michigan also being impacted by this, and Michigan itself possibly as well. But that's that. That's kind of what we're seeing here when it comes to thing here. Let's see here. I know most of y'all don't live or don't care if you're not in the I-95 Northeast. Whatever you... Okay. Let's see here. I actually lived by there. Grew up by the I-95 corridor. Actually, I-95 went through my county. Northern Virginia. Pretty fun. Really not. Let's see. Love SpongeBob, says watch it. Yeah, it's pretty good. It used to be... first 2 seasons were awesome. Definitely a lot of memories, a lot of childhood memories with that. Let's see, I feel that we're having an early spring to start. For now, I think it's more of a heat wave, like a nuisance, heat wave nuisance than anything. But like I said, other than that, I think it's just going to go right back to cold conditions after this, honestly. Like I said, we are still in the beginning of January. This could shift either way. We could have some storms. We could have some snow. Honestly, we're in a really wild transition right now. Like I said, February is usually a pretty wild transition. Just normally. It's starting to go from the later portions, like storms, a lot more storm activity, into, obviously that. Like I said, the big storms really don't, like the more density of these, like I said, the main density of essentially the thunderstorms doesn't really happen until March. And then it really kicks in April, then May it's really strong. Then June it starts to kind of die down a little bit as the environment warms up from the surface to the upper levels and all that fun stuff. But anyways, that is that. But like I said, once again, everybody, if you have any more questions, feel free to let me know. Like I said, we've been live here for over an hour at this point. So if there is anything else that I can do for you, let me know. Like I said, let me know, and I'm gonna be here for you. Once again, what do we say? Probably 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. We'll go live. Yes, I'm still watching. Stupid camera. But yeah, probably around 8 o'clock. I'd say 8 Eastern. Kind of what I'm planning on, possibly. So we'll see. We'll see how all that goes. But once and final call, my friends, to the questions you may or may not have. If not, you're going to be thinking of, wow, why didn't I say that in the Andrew stream here? So say what you got to say. If there is something that you're worried about, if there's something that is, like I said, if there's something you're questionable about, let me know. Courtney says, is it going to be cold for me when I go up there? Let me pull up the long range. Let me see the temperatures for our local region. Yeah, I don't know if you knew it, but Arctic, she's my girlfriend. She's actually heading up here to Kentucky from Florida, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, right now, yeah, yeah. Okay, so like I said, I really don't like going too far into models, but yeah, it cools down a lot by the time you get here. Like I said, you're coming out on the 14th, so just before the 14th, it is probably crazy. Probably gonna be quite cold. Look at that maximum. Let's see here. Holy cow! Showing like okay, I'm gonna go off the blend here. I'd rather go off the blend of models here rather than that. Let's see the blend of models. Okay, so yeah, around that time, yeah, a lot cooler. So you might want to bring a jacket if you have any in Florida. But anyways, well, let's see here. let's see. Courtney, yes. Anything 80 or anything less than 80 for you would be cold. Yeah, I'm sure. Like I said, I had that very nasty interaction from going from Florida all the way. Like I said, I went from Florida. I went to Florida early November, November 6th, and then obviously, I came back here about what was it, last week here, and yeah, essentially, it's a lot colder. It sucks. It really does. It does. It's a big shift in climate for me. That really messed with me. Going from days in January being like 70, 80 to coming here during maximum highs of like 30 and 40s. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. But anyways, my friends, well, I tell you what, if you have not already, consider hitting that subscribe button. You know why? Because we are so close to 8,500 subscribers. I'm looking at the exact amount right now. We're 8,487, only 13 away. And if I could ask you guys a favor, there is one thing that I would want, is for you guys to consider hitting that subscribe button. Maybe share this with your friends and family. Tell them to subscribe. Let's see if we can reach 8,500 subscribers, possibly by tomorrow. What do y'all think? I think that's a doable thing. So if you're not already, then, like I said, that is, kind of what we're talking about. So, let's see here. But once again, final call, my friends, of anything you might have in question. Like I said, let me know. We got you all covered here. If there's anything you want to talk about, weather related, like I said, thunderstorm activity, a lot of stuff's getting ready to happen, you guys. So obviously, it's good to be prepared. It's obviously great to be prepared. But with that being said, everybody, well, I tell you what, I think that's going to go ahead and do it for tonight. So we've been live here for a while too. We were live here for a little over an hour. About an hour and 15 minutes at this point, so that's good. That's good. I'm glad that I was able to get some information out to you guys, and obviously the people who are watching this, there's going to be people that's going to be watching this, after we head off here. So that is, like I said, that is obviously good. I feel like we got some, nice pre-event live stream stuff that for you, and all that fun stuff. Like I said, tomorrow once again, probably around 8 o'clock or so. 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. We're probably going to be going live, or we will be going live in order to, like I said, cover some of that severe weather across Eastern Texas. Like I said, once again, we have a marginal risk here for Eastern Texas. One more quick little look here real quickly. Over the Storm Prediction Center. Like I said, we have that little marginal risk here. We're going to be covering that tomorrow evening, so we'll be doing some more updates. And like I said, the big day here is on Wednesday. Across that dark green area. That's going to be a big day. I think that's going to possibly go even higher of a risk than it already is. So I think that's kind of the biggest thing on the table right now. And obviously the snow and then stuff like that, and which is crazy. Let's see here. Proxy says, have a great night, everyone. Sleep well. You as well, Proxy. And once again, thank you so much for all of the support on the channel. You absolutely rock, my friend. Thank you so much, Proxy. All right. Well, you know what, everybody? I think that's going to do it here for right now. Hope to see you guys sometime here soon. Like I said, obviously, hope to see you guys here sometime soon. Let's see here. Watershed says, thank you. You are very, very welcome. No problem. Absolutely no problem. Once again, big shout out to our supporters for today. We have Jenny as well as Proxy. Thank you guys once again for supporting the channel. You'll absolutely rock. Obviously, we also have Popcorn too with the membership. Thank you so much for that. All right. Well, once again, everybody, thank you all so much for joining us. Once again, we'll catch you guys here tomorrow evening for some severe weather coverage. All right, switching on over here, guys. Hope you all have an amazing rest of your night. Please stay safe out there. If you have any more, questions, feel free to join our Discord down below. And like I said, if there's anything that you might be, questionable about, even when we're off stream, let me know. And like I said, I'll talk to you guys on my Discord server, or somebody in my server will as well. All right, my friends. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. Stream's gonna head off here in approximately 2 minutes, so you guys can say goodbye to your friends and family. And until next time, my friends, being tomorrow evening, we will catch you guys here in the next one. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you all here later on. See you, my friends. Love y'all. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow.
Snow and sleet will continue this evening across far eastern Minnesota and western Wisconsin, with reduced visibility and slick travel conditions. A slushy mix of rain, snow, and sleet has transitioned to primarily snow with a few pockets of rain mixing in this evening, with precipitation expected to continue to move eastwards over the next few hours. Visibility reductions from falling snow are likely, with slick roadways due to the wintry mix as temperatures remain near or just above freezing. Please plan on extra travel time or reducing your speed if traveling for the next few hours. Precipitation will exit the area before midnight. Now here is the hazardous weather outlook for portions of central and southern Minnesota and west central Wisconsin. For tonight, a quick burst of moderate snow later this afternoon and evening along and north of I-90 in eastern Minnesota and western Wisconsin will impact the evening commute. And now the extended outlook for the period Tuesday through Sunday. No hazardous weather is expected at this time. Spotter information statement: Skywarn spotter activation will not be needed. Now the forecast for the Twin Cities metropolitan area. Overnight, mostly cloudy. Lows in the mid-20s. West winds 10 to 20 miles an hour. Tuesday, partly sunny in the morning, then clearing. Highs in the mid-30s. West winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tuesday night,